I wanted just to begin by making my statement, then allowing for my co-author, and then after the board has made their statements, I want to then begin my questioning of the panel to get their expertise and advice. So if I can begin with that, Madam Chair, thank you again for recognizing me, and I want to thank Supervisor Horvath for co-authoring this motion with me. Colleagues, as you know, LA County is home to over 4.7 million Latinos, making them the largest ethnic group. I don't even know if that's appropriate to say anymore, ethnic group in the region. Latinos, as you know, are the backbone of the county's economy, culture, and community. When most people think of Los Angeles County, they think of the many contributions that Latinos have made in this region. Latinos have had a profound impact on the county's culture, influencing the county's music, the art scene, food, and entrepreneurial spirit. Latino businesses in the county contribute a GDP larger than the GDP of many states, including the states of Louisiana and Oregon. Despite all their contributions that they have made to the County of Los Angeles, Latino residents continue to face disparities in several key areas, preventing the community from achieving its fullest potential. That's why this motion is before us today. For example, Latino students experience lower high school graduation rates in college enrollment compared to their peers in other racial and ethnic groups. In the Los Angeles Unified School District, Latino students are falling significantly behind, while their white counterparts in academic performance seem to be doing much better. Only 35.33% of Latino students meet English proficiency standards compared to 65.4% for white students. And in math, 29.29% of Latino students are proficient compared to 54.97% of white students. Latinos have continuously faced chronic health care inequities, including access to routine and preventive care, mental health services, and wellness resources. We saw how disproportionate access to care led to disparate outcomes for the Latino community during the COVID pandemic, where the death rates for Latinos was almost more than 1.5 times higher than the white population. And many Latinos also lacked access to good-paying jobs. According to a 2019 report by the United States Census Bureau, over 761,000 Latinos in the county were living below the poverty level, almost 1 million. Latino households are increasingly becoming rent burdened, as many of us know. And in 2024, analysis by the UCLA Latino Policy and Politics found that about 55% of Latino renters in LA County face substantial housing cost burdens. And further, 53% of Latino adults in the county have low literacy levels, which affects not only their ability to access and understand our county services, but also their ability to navigate their communities safely. Latino communities in the county have the least amount of accessible park space. According to our own LA County Department of Parks and Recreation's 2016 countywide needs assessment, all our major metro areas, the LA region, has the least amount of accessible park space, and the problem is worse for predominantly Latino communities. The recognized standard for park access is 4 acres of parks for every 1,000 people. However, in Los Angeles County, Latino communities just have 0.6 acres for every 1,000 residents. This denies Latinos the environmental and mental health benefits that green spaces provide. Again, this is why the motion before us is so important for us today. Among many other things, this motion commissions a study on the status of Latino residents in LA County to help us better understand why these disparities exist. And I also asked the CEO to allocate appropriate funds to bring this report to fruition. Similar to reports on the state of Black LA County, which was commissioned back in 2020, and the state of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islanders in Los Angeles County, which was presented by Supervisor Horvath, and I requested earlier this year. We must understand what is driving negative outcomes for the Latino community so that we can better serve all of our constituencies. The motion is not just about addressing the disparities, it's about ensuring that Latinos have the appropriate resources and opportunities to thrive in their communities with their families. Given the large number of Latinos in Los Angeles County, ensuring that they are successful also ensures that all our county residents can continue to grow and prosper. The motion before you all today is a step in the right direction, I believe, and to ensure that there's equity for Latinos in Los Angeles County. And I also at this time would like to read in the following revisions to the motion. Strike item 1 and replace it with the following. Direct the Chief Executive Office through the Anti-Racism, Diversity, and Inclusion ARDI initiative to consult with a representative group of Latino stakeholders and academic and/or research institutions and create a State of Latinidad Los Angeles County report. The report should be presented to the board biannually and include a separate directive to read the following. Direct the Chief Executive Office through the Budget Operations and Management Branch as a part of fiscal year 2025-2026 recommended budget phase to identify $600,000 in one-time funding to produce the report consistent with the fiscal resiliency protocol. And I'd like to thank ARDI and their staff and also the CEO for working with our staff on this. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'll turn it over to our co-author.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Supervisor Solis, for putting forward this important motion and for welcoming me as co-author on it. Latinos account for more than half of the U.S. population growth in the last 2 decades, and almost 8 out of 10 of the new workers joining the workforce between now and 2030 will be Latino. Latinos make up half the county's population, including 43% of my district, the 3rd district. And I have seen firsthand the need for resources for these issues that have disproportionately impacted our Latino communities. From the rates of silicosis in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and pathways to micro-entrepreneurship through street vending, to the needs for translation services and bringing visibility and resources to our indigenous migrant communities. It is important that we know how the county is doing when it comes to services and resources for our neighbors. This motion not only directs the creation of a report, but also has our county departments providing analysis on many facets impacting Latino communities and our residents. This includes social safety net programs, voter registration, open spaces, multimodal transportation solutions, street signs and wayfinding, and public service announcements for our Spanish-speaking households. We must also understand the educational outcomes and economic opportunities that exist today to know what we can do for our Latino communities tomorrow and beyond. I look forward to the results of this work and to ensuring we're doing everything we can to best serve all our residents throughout the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Horvath. Supervisor Mitchell?
Thank you very much, and thank you, Supervisor Solis, for
there.
bringing this forward. You opened by saying maybe we don't use the term ethnic groups. I think we do. What we no longer use is the term minority groups, because as you shared, in terms of the sheer numbers, it's not about minority. But when I hear the term ethnic, I think it is an acknowledgement of a rich, deep appreciation for cultural heritage and background. And so I think minority is the term that we should eliminate from our conversations completely. It goes without saying that the important contributions of the Latino community to the cultural, economic, and social fabric of LA County can't be overstated. And yet, despite these contributions, these stark disparities exist. And I would argue that's based on systemic racism. And for me, it is important that I call that out and acknowledge that is what holds the Latino community back and many others. I look forward to the work that can be done, not only in identifying the why, but in bringing forward solutions, particularly solutions that we in LA County can undertake, resource solutions to break the systemic racism barriers that prevent communities, the Latino community, from excelling. Now, in particular, as we face An uncertain federal landscape, I think we have a responsibility, a deep obligation to ensure that our local policies protect and empower our Latino community and beyond. In the 2nd District, we see the real-world impact of such policies every day. So by investing in early education, bilingual health care, and economic opportunities, we're not just addressing these disparities, but we're building a stronger, more resilient county. I also acknowledge that the Latino population is very diverse, and subgroups differ with respect to country of origin, genetic ancestry, immigration history, and geographic distribution. So studying this community as a whole sometimes masks critical disparities among subgroups. So I think it's important that as we embark on this work that we don't treat the community as a monolith, but we really actually dig deep to make sure that we are identifying true causes and therefore solutions that can be operationalized. I really appreciate your read-in because ARTI isn't just a framework for addressing inequities. It's the engine that empowers our ability to identify and address disparities across every community. And so properly resourcing ARTI is critical to ensuring that the county has the tools to implement the comprehensive strategies outlined in the motion. I hope to have a study and a roadmap to improve outcomes for the Latino community. And so your read-in, I hope, will be the resources we need to get there. Thank you for the motion, and I look forward to supporting.
Thank you, Supervisor Mitchell. Now, Supervisor Hahn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Supervisor Solis, thank you for bringing this motion forward, and to your co-author, Supervisor Horvath. I'm proud to represent actually the most Latino district in LA County, and since redistricting, the 4th district is now more than 59% Latino. And a lot of that is thanks to the addition of the 10 new cities and 1 unincorporated community that you previously represented, Supervisor Solis, that I was gifted in the redistricting process. You've known them, you represented them, you fought for them, you advocated for them, and I've really had the great fortune to getting to know them, to getting to understand their struggles and many of the things that they're going through that we're already trying to resolve. We just opened the first county park in Walnut Park, which was so much appreciated. Places like Southeast LA really work as a safety net. It's really the microcosm of what the county is. That's where the safety net can do the most good, where we can really make positive changes in people's lives. I've seen it firsthand. I remember visiting some of the homes with you that were still being cleaned up from years of Exide battery plant contamination, and having public hearings and meetings about that issue. I've heard the concern in the voices of the parents in these communities who, just like parents everywhere, want their kids to have the best shot at life, but struggle because of the challenges many times beyond their control. And this is just one of the many issues from limited access to green space, as you talked about, to lower school outcomes, to affordable housing, to health care. These communities and other Latino majority communities like them across our county are filled with hardworking people trying to give their families the very best, but they continue to face serious disparities. And from our very beginnings, the story of Los Angeles County could not have been written without our Latinos. Today, though, many of them are facing unfair challenges, and we have a broad idea of what's missing and what solutions could work, but we owe it to them to dig deeper and deliver solutions, and that's what I think this motion will do to help that. So thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank you, Supervisor Solis and Supervisor Horvath, for this motion. I find, when I look at the numbers as outlined in the motion, that the number of Latinos experiencing homelessness increased by 26%. But in 2024, despite an overall decrease in the number of people experiencing homelessness, the number of Latinos experiencing homelessness continue to increase, now making up 43%. There's no question that we need to look at what is driving these numbers. And commissioning a study will be very educational for all of us, and I'm sure will build on the research being done by the UCLA Latino Policy and Politics Center, as well as by many other renowned research institutions. I think it's important for us to see what opportunities this county can provide to break the barriers that exist. And in the end, it will not only benefit the Latino community, but the county as a whole. So with that, thank you for bringing this motion in. I look forward to learning more as we move forward. Would you go ahead, Supervisor Solis?
Yes, thank you for your comments, and I want to thank all of my colleagues because actually it's a motion that all of us obviously are very concerned about, and it isn't one that is lost on me. It's been something since I've been on the board, and I recall some studies that had been done even prior to my coming here outlining the disparities in LA County, a research project that some of our departments in the California Endowment were involved in. And at that time, even my sister who passed, Dr. Beatrice, was involved in some of that research. And I'm happy to say at least that we're attempting to go back to that and say, there's possibilities here before us to try to change that.